Shadrach Minkins, the courthouse storm that defied the Fugitive Slave Act. Shadrach Minkins was a man who transformed a coffee pour into a courtroom coup, sparking one of the most audacious rescues in Underground Railroad history. Around 1850, he fled slavery in Norfolk, Virginia, for the promise of Boston. His freedom was short-lived. In 1851, he became a test case for the harsh new Fugitive Slave Act. In response, the black community of Boston did not just protest, they staged a bold, public rescue, snatching him from the grasp of federal marshals. This was the first successful forcible rescue under the Act, a stunning blow to federal authority and a rallying cry for abolitionists. The escape to freedom enslaved in Norfolk. Minkins worked as a ship caulker and waiter for John Debris, fearing sail into the deep south as his enslavers' debts mounted. Minkins seized his chance in the spring of 1850. He stowed away on a northbound schooner, emerging in Boston Harbor. There, he joined the city's vibrant free black community, found work as a waiter at the Cornhill Coffee House, and for 9 months, lived as a free man. The arrest and the trap. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 empowered federal agents to capture escapees and compelled citizens to assist them. On February 15, 1851, to Deputy U.S. Marshals entered the coffee house under disguise. As Minkins served them, they arrested him and rushed him to the federal courthouse. President Millard Fillmore and Secretary of State Daniel Webster saw his case as a critical test to prove the federal government would enforce the law inside the courtroom. A commissioner began a hearing that offered Minkins no real defense, intending to remand him to slavery, the rescue a public storm. As news of the arrest spread, a crowd of black and white abolitionists gathered outside the courthouse, led by members of the Boston Vigilance Committee, including the formidable Lewis Hayden himself, a former fugitive. A plan was set in motion. Around 20 black men, using sheer force and numbers, stormed the second-floor courtroom. They overwhelmed the guards, smashed through a door, seized Minkins, and carried him out of the building and into a waiting carriage. The marshals were caught completely by surprise, unwilling to provoke a massacre by firing their weapons in the chaos, the aftermath, and flight. North, the rescue was a brilliant public humiliation for the federal government. President Fillmore issued a proclamation denouncing the outrage and offered rewards. Indictments for treason were brought against several rescuers, though most cases ultimately collapsed. Meanwhile, Minkins was swiftly smuggled along the Underground Railroad, passing through safe houses in Massachusetts and New Hampshire until he crossed the border into Canada, where he was beyond the reach of U.S. law. A new life in Canada. Minkins settled in Montreal, where he built a new life. He worked as a waiter, then a restaurateur, and finally a successful barber. He married, raised a family, and became a respected patriarch in Montreal's growing black community. He lived the rest of his days in freedom, a direct result of the courageous act that tore him from a Boston courtroom. His story is not one of stealth, but of spectacular public defiance. It proved that the collective will of a community could, for a moment, shatter the machinery of oppression. You asked which moment ignites the most. The courtroom blitz is a breathtaking act of immediate courage. Yet, the quiet dignity of his thank you letter from free soil carries the profound weight of a hard-won future. Both are essential to the power of his legacy.